Welcome to Talkin' Mischief. Whether you're here for the hustle, the healing, or one of those holy hell same moments, you're in the right place. So let's get loud, let's get weird, and let's get into some mischief, y'all. Welcome back to another week of Talkin' Mischief. And I am so glad that you guys are here. And I wasn't expecting as many people to come out and listen and download as I thought. I don't know. I'm new to this. Not new to this, but Talkin' Mischief is new to the game. So, hi. And if you're just now joining us for the first time, you're in for a treat. And I'm sorry, but this isn't a PG kind of episode. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I just want to start by actually talking about why mischief? Because I get that question all the time. Like, what is mischief? What is the reasoning behind the name, behind what I'm doing? How did I get involved in what I'm doing? And it kind of just happened. Not really though. So, like I said, I always get asked why mischief? Where did the name come from? Why did I start doing it? And kind of how did I end up where I'm at now? And my favorite motto is to say, and I've just let the wind take me where it wants, because that is exactly what I'm doing. So to kick it off, I have been kind of doing what I've been doing since 2014, meaning what the hell does that even mean? Meaning I've done graphic designing, I've done like the artsy stuff, kind of dabbled in photography, whatever, but it was never really anything that I kind of perfected or worked on or grew on. I kind of just wung it. Is that right? Wang it? I don't know. Whatever, don't matter. So I've been kind of dabbling in it since then. It was more so just a hobby than anything else because I was a college student. Fun fact, my entire life changed in 2014 because I was so dead set on joining the military. I wanted to go be a doc in the Navy. And the day I was leaving for boot camp, I found out I was pregnant. I didn't believe them to the point that I made them take 8 different pregnancy tests because I didn't believe it. Nothing says scared shitless like having your whole world completely 180 for something that you did not have in your cards. But I am glad it happened the way that it happened. And my mini-me is the littlest shit mini-me and my best friend, and I love that booger to death. So I went to college and I did stuff like the student government, where that's when I really started dabbling into like creating things like flyers and whatever, what you could back then, because the way the systems are now are totally different. And there was just a lot of things. I was also like what do they call them? Like the coordinator, where I like toured, like the students would come in and they would tour the school and I would make their experience, I don't know, whatever, it was college. Let's fast forward to 2019. 2019, I enlisted into the Marine Corps. There was that what if, and I was stuck with it. And I was like, I really need to do this. I really wanted to be in the Marine Corps, or military in general. What that branch looked like at the time, it didn't really matter. The only thing that did matter is what would happen with my kid. That's a different story for a different day. So I enlisted in 2019 and I got out in 2024, and 2023 rolled around and I was like, son of a biscuit, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, because originally I was like, I'm going to be I'm going to be a lifer. I'm going to retire from the military because I'm here. Finally got to do it. I was artillery, and I can talk about that a different episode, but yeah, I was artillery, and that was not a life to live as a parent. And then I was going to re-enlist and lat move. And I had some stuff all set up. I had a school date to lat move. I had all these things set up. My master sergeant said, no, big dog, we ain't letting you do that. You're going to stay right here. And I added the accent because this man, I loved him, but couldn't understand what he was saying half the time. Love him to death, though. Anywho, so go on deployment, and I had to figure out what I was going to do with myself to be able to provide for my child, to be able to provide for myself. And I'm like, how do you go 4.5, almost 5 years in the military, in the Marine Corps, and artillery? How do you adjust back to that? So I was sitting there one day on deployment and I was like, I think I want to start my own business. And I looked at my now husband and he goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. Kind of want to turn my hobbies into a business. And that's when I started kind of like during the Marine Corps, because I was like, I always got roped into doing the newsletters and doing all like the pretty stuff and taking the pictures of the ceremonies and all these other things, which is fine, not a big deal. That was just something I was good at. So I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. So then I dabbled in different names. There was Harleen, which is a nickname for Harley Quinn. And then there was, I had so many different names. I honestly, I can't quite remember, but I remember Harleen the most. That one stuck out to me the most because I remember making a logo and it said Harleen and then above it in like this like oval shape. I'll just attach it. I'll just attach it up here and show you guys because yeah, it said like be a decent effing human. It was a little rough, but it was cool. And then a friend of mine was like, think of the big picture. One day, do you decide that you want to eventually have employees? It's not just about you anymore at that point. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fair. So then came Mischief. Why Mischief? So back in the day, I used to ride motorcycles. And that is the one thing in my life that I absolutely love and adore. And it is my favorite thing to do in the entire world is wind therapy. Because when I say it is therapy, wind therapy is the best thing in the entire world. It's the most I feel free. Letting the wind take me. It doesn't matter. Like that was my favorite thing in the world. And that was the nickname they gave me. That was my road name was Mischief. And at that time and at that year, my life had taken a 180 and it was a really rough year. Well, this group of people took me in, picked me back up, dusted me off, and helped me out. And that name kind of just stuck with me. And my legal government name is Holly. And it's spelled weird. Super weird. Fun fact, hi, if you didn't know that, now you do. uh, Harley was always my nickname. Always. It's been my nickname for at least a decade now. Because I loved Harley Quinn before she was mainstream. And because my name was spelled weird, they spelled mischief weird. Because I was always getting into mischief. And to me, mischief, like I always say, it's about letting the wind take me where it wants. And when I felt the most free is when I'm on the motorcycle in the wind, letting my hair fly back in the wind. May get a bug smack me in the face and that hurts a couple times or two. But it almost could be like a metaphor in a sense. Cheesy. I love it though. Anywho, one thing you're gonna learn too is that I have the brain of a fucking squirrel. That's why, like in my intro episode, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna get because my brain goes like whatever that looks like. So thank you for staying here with me. Anyways, so let's fast forward and get to the meat and potatoes of why I do what I do. I turned my hobbies into a small business, which looks like graphic designing. To break that down, it also has logo designing, website designs. What did I say? Logo? So logo, graphic, website designs. Uh, and I primarily started working with small businesses because I love small businesses. I have no desire in whatsoever to work with a big company unless somebody like Dr. Pepper was like, hey, let's do a brand deal, or Red Bull, or whatever. If they were like, hey, let's do that, or I can just do this, fine, sure, I'll do it. But no hint of there or anything. But I love my small businesses because a big thing with Mischief is that I'm big about heart. And that's why I love working with smaller artists, people that aren't the big names. And I don't know if I ever really have a desire to pursue big names. If not, I just got to shoot one a couple weeks ago, and let me just say, that was a wake up call for so many things and the inspiration behind my complete rebrand. Different episode for a different day. And then the country dancing. I've been doing that for 5 years now. I've been line dancing since 2014, but I've been teaching for about 5 years now. So of course I made that part of my thing. I love, love, love putting events together. It is a lot of stress. It It is a lot of stress, a lot of things that gotta go behind that. But I love doing it. And especially when it comes to event time and I watch everything unfold, it is my favorite part. It's not my favorite part, but it's one of my favorite things I do. Then there is the photography and videography thing. So the photography part actually stemmed last year so that I could start doing product shoots for small businesses. That was the whole point of why I bought the camera. Because I wanted to be able to produce content, quality content and photos for my small businesses with products or branding, headshots. It was circled around small businesses. Well, one thing led to another, and now I do dance event photography, and I love doing that. I love doing the photography part. And then the music industry side of it came along. And let me just say, music is my peace of mind. Now, do I have a lick of sense of how to play, how to sing, any of that? No, I don't. I wish I did. My shower thinks I do, but I don't. But music to me is my zen, is my calming, is my peace of mind, and I will go wherever it is. And I love my old music. I love my old country, my old rock. I'm an 80s girly through and through. 90s country, early 2000s, like that whole era of music. And I'm a bluegrass girly. Jesus. I love, like, and I don't really have, like, I listen to just almost every type of music. Almost every type. Like, if you look at my playlist, we might be jamming out to, like, Leonard Skinner, then turn around and you got Carrie Underwood, which that's not even a far reach because she does rock and roll. Or I don't know, we might be listening to Bill Monroe, like Ricky Skaggs. Like, you don't know what my playlist is going to be like. So that's kind of where it kind of came from. And then I've been working with my friend Courtney, and she is a musician, photographer, and she's been a big help. And I've been dabbling kind of into the videography stuff, and I got this one video. It's one of my favorites. It's on my YouTube. If you want to go, it's on this channel. If you want to watch it, it's of Whitey Morgan in the 78s, and that is probably my top tier, top 3 favorite, besides the one that I got at Chrysalin. Arthur's from Caffrey, Oklahoma. Those are my 2 favorite. I still haven't quite figured out. It's just a lot of work. Anyways, so how do I get the opportunities that I get? I just fucking show up. That's the biggest thing. I just show up and I reach out and I email and I message. I get a lot more left on red than I do responses. But the responses I do get end up leading to other opportunities and bigger things and building my portfolio. And, there was a lot of times that I had to do cool opportunities for free when I was trying to get exposure. And it wasn't even just about the exposure. It was about, I wanted to fucking do this. So I'm going to suck it up for a minute, get my feet wet and figure it the fuck out. Like my first artist that actually, like the first gig I ever had with an artist was with Dallas Alexander. And I doubt he's going to listen to this, but I am forever grateful for that man. Because he didn't know who I was. He had no idea who I was. And he saw me shooting at a writer's round and was like, hey, I have my first whiskey jam tomorrow and I need somebody to cover it. And so I came and I covered his whiskey jam. And let me just say, those photos are booty. Those photos are booty. He likes them. At least he says he does. I don't believe him, but I'll roll with it. But that was my moment where I was like, holy fuck, this is what I want to do. I want to be in the music industry. What that looks like, I don't know. But that was my wake up call. That's what I wanted to do. And then it kind of just trickled from there. Like last week, or a couple weeks ago, I got to work with one of my favorite artists, Jason Michael Carroll, and got to shoot pieces of his music video for his new song that's about to release, Ain't Nothing But Country with PD Pablo. And if you haven't, when this releases, it had not come out yet, but it comes out September 15th, whatever day you listen to this. on all platforms. Starting on the radio, but all platforms September 15th. I love working with Jason Michael Carroll. I just want to point that out too. He was my first studio shoot. He was my first big venue, like I mean massive venue. And then he was my first music video. And there was like a lot of different things. Oh, he's my first artist on the Talking Mischief Artists You Should Know segment. So I really appreciate him. And this has nothing to do with why Mischief. But I just want to put some background into that. But basically, Mischief stemmed from my hobbies, a lot of research, a lot of studying, a lot of my homework, working with people learning from them, learning what not to do, what learning to do, getting my feet wet and just saying fuck it and jumping in and trying it out. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is that people say no, or you fuck up and you learn from the lesson and then you try again. So it's like, you don't know what you don't know, and you should never stop learning. Because when I look at my stuff from 2 years ago and what I did now, yo, it's a little rough. I ain't gonna lie. And I know it, and I'll admit it. But that's the thing, is that I take it and I look at it and I grow from it. And that's the most important part. And if you think that you are done growing because you've made it, quote unquote, you're wrong. You should always be a sponge. And I tell all my students, whether I'm teaching them, I've taught a lot of people for a lot of different things. And something I always say is be a sponge. Take it all in, absorb everything, pull it all in, and throw out, squeeze out what you don't want. But it's been we're rolling into our second year, like finishing out our second year, and I'm actually in the middle of a rebrand because I decided I'm going to shift Mischief. I'm not announcing that yet, what I'm doing with Mischief, but I am taking a big shift, especially coming into the new year, holidays in the new year. Mischief's going to be getting into working towards a lot of different things. And I'm really excited. I'm actually more excited about that because the rebrand feels more me and things that align with me, and the big picture of what I want to do with Mischief. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm glad you're here with me, even if it's only a few of you. Like, I'm excited, and I'm happy you're here. All right, now stay tuned for the next episode. The next episode we're dropping is our interview with Crystal Arthurs from Calf Fry. I think it was back in May. But if there is anything that you want to talk about, hear about, whether that has to do with music or has to do with mental health or has to do with dancing or literally anything you fucking want, just let me know. And that is all. We're talking Mischief.